Hey everybody, it's Amanda here. I just wanted to give you some shoulder and neck and sort of upper back yoga love for you to kind of tune into that are really simple. You're not going to need much. I use yoga blankets, but you can even use, bath towels. It really doesn't matter. A pretty bulky one works, but what else you'll need? I have a block. I mean, you might have these yoga props with you, but if you don't, just a stack of books would work as well. And then these are kind of like a little investment, but they're amazing. These are yoga therapy balls, and they come in little sets of 2, and they're only like $12 on Amazon. I highly recommend them. Some people use tennis balls instead, but they're not as dense. They don't go as deeply into the tissue, so I really would look them up. Yoga therapy balls, they're very cool. Again, they're worth the investment and they'll last a really long time. So that's all we're kind of working with today. So it's something super simple to start out with, and you can even do this like sitting in your office desk if that's the kind of job you have. But I would encourage you, if you're sitting on the floor, to give yourself a little boost of something to sit on as you come into a comfortable, cross-leg position, just to kind of allow us to open up these hip flexors here. So super simple, just rolling the shoulders back and down a few times. And then you're going to walk your left hand out to the side, and then just drop the opposite ear to opposite shoulder. So walking left hand out, dropping right ear to right shoulder. And this seems like super simple, but you're getting such a nice stretch alongside. And the more you walk out that opposite arm, the deeper the stretch will be. And of course, you want to keep your spine nice and straight. And you want to breathe. And sometimes I like to nod my head a little bit down, a little bit up, like I'm saying yes. And that can change the stretch on the side of the neck as well. And the last piece is to take that opposite hand and just gently rest it. You don't want to crank it down. You're not trying to grab it. You're letting just the gravity and the weight of your arm add a little bit extra, knowing that, again, walking that opposite arm out will increase the stretch. And I usually stay here for about like 3 minutes or so, but I'm kind of doing the rushed version for you. And then you'll come back to center, you're rolling the shoulders back and down. And then the opposite side, so we're walking out. Now the right arm, left ear goes to left shoulder. And you'll notice that side to side might be pretty darn different. Again, you can start with the up and down. Yes. Maybe even holding it in one position or another and just noticing what points are stiffer. And then again, the final piece on this side would be to add that left arm. Again, not pressing down, but just adding a little weight. I feel my left side is, or this side rather, is much stiffer on me. And then you'll come back on up, or rolling the shoulders back and down, because we always tend to do this, especially when we're at our computer desk. So anytime we can roll the shoulders back and down is a good thing to release neck and upper back tension as well. So another simple thing to do here, I'm going to turn to the side so you can get a better side view of me. Again, maybe you can uncross the legs and cross in the opposite direction if you did so. Again, trying to keep the spine nice and straight. And then from here, all you're going to do is you'll inhale, the arms come up overhead, noting if the shoulders are coming into the ears, rolling them back and down, and then twist at the torso and coming into a nice gentle twist. So you're, if you're twisting over to the right, your left hand will come to the knee. The right hand will come back behind you, and it'll kind of give you like a little pillar of support. So you're just twisting the heart open and noticing if you're leaning back this way or leaning over this way, trying to keep your shoulders right over your hips. And you're trying to activate some core muscle, but you're also twisting from the upper rib cage as well. From here, you can keep your gaze facing straight ahead as much as you're able to twist, but you can also invite a little bit of a neck stretch as you turn the head back towards that right shoulder. Again, you don't want to crank anything. Don't go past the point of discomfort, of course, right? But you might want to enhance a little bit of a stretch, noticing if this shoulder is creeping up, rolling it back down, giving a gentle press into those fingertips for length. A really nice, simple, but great stretch. And then we'll come back around and we'll go to the opposite side. So rolling the shoulders back and down in between sides, inhaling, arm sweep overhead. Getting the shoulders out of the ears. Exhaling, twisting over to the left. This time right hand comes to knee. Left hand comes behind you. Notice, are you pitching forward? Are you pitching backward? Trying to keep shoulders over hips. Trying to keep both of your sit bones planted evenly. Again, the back arm is just kind of giving you a little prop, a little bit of a support here, but we're activating the core muscles, the core strength to turn. We're drawing that left shoulder back behind. And maybe we invite a little bit of a gentle neck stretch as we allow the gaze to come back behind as well. But again, if it's too much for your neck, you just allow the gaze to come straight ahead. Breathing, of course, stretches and twists always kind of can bring constriction into the ribs, into the lungs, but we always want to make sure we're breathing, using the low belly instead if you're feeling tightness in the rib cage. Getting length on the inhales, exhaling, maybe you open that chest up a little bit more. And then you'll come back to center, roll those shoulders back and down once more. And then another wonderful, this is not a twist, but it's a back opener, especially this upper back, this thoracic spine. So like the back side of the heart, if you will. That's very stiff in almost everybody I know. And so one of the best things to do is to lie on back with a blanket roll or a bath towel roll. So I have a yoga blanket, so you might have one of these. If you don't, just fold up a bath towel in this shape. So it's like a nice sort of rectangle. And I typically will roll the whole thing into a cylinder, but that's pretty thick, and that's going to be a lot on most people's backs unless you are a little bit more flexible there. So I encourage you to maybe just roll it up halfway, like so. So it's a little bit skinnier. And what you'll be doing with this, and I'll show you, I'll turn around so you can see where I'm going here. But what you'll be doing is you're going to want to align the blanket roll just at the bottom tips of the shoulder blades, okay? So we're really aiming it, and actually I'm doing it backwards here. Let me just show you the thick roll. It'll be easier to demo. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lie back on this blanket roll. I'm going to locate where the bottom tips of my blades are, and that is where the blanket roll will go, and I'll come to lying down. So basically, you want to kind of guesstimate, okay, where do I think my shoulder blades are going to fall? And of course, you can shift and shimmy around a little bit, but you get it where you want it. You lie on back and be like, okay, that feels just about right. My bottom tips are pressing into the back of the blanket. And then from here, your knees can either stay bent or they can extend out straight. You can't see mine, but that's all they're doing, either bent or straight, depending on how your low back is feeling. If it's feeling tweaky, best to keep the knees bent. Otherwise, your arms come above the blanket roll. So they're not hanging out on the roll, they're not going in front. They're hanging out above it, and you're opening up the heart. Now at this point, you might feel that your neck is getting a little bit too open. Let me see if I can shift myself. I need a videographer to help me with these. Okay, so it might be that this is too much. I'll move my arm out of the way. This is too much for your throat, in which case you just want to find another bath towel or blanket just to give yourself a little prop, just to, you know, level out that neck. But if this feels like a nice stretch for your neck, excellent. As far as the arms, again, they're above the blanket, and I do the goalpost arm style, so I'm just kind of opening them up. Again, if this is too much, that's all right. You can maybe extend them out airplane style from side to side, just straight like this. But we're trying to get the upper back, that heart center, the back side of the heart center to open up. So again, legs can be bent, knees can be bent, feet planted, or legs can extend out straight. And I hang out here for at least 5 to 10 minutes, and you just breathe into the blanket. This can be very intense. Again, we're trying to open up those stiff muscles in between our shoulder blades, and of course they're within the rib cage as well. Points of our back that we just don't move a lot, and we tend to kind of be hunched over a lot in our cars, at our offices, on our computers, things like that. So when you are coming out of this after 5-10 minutes, or as long as you can stand it, you just want to gently roll yourself, tuck your knees into your chest, and just kind of roll on off, and then press on up from the floor. So that is a really wonderful but super powerful and potent heart opener and upper back opener. So, and of course, again, start with a smaller roll. This is all you really need to work with to start, and then you can always make it thicker. And then if you feel, you know, you've done this for a month or so and you're really opening things up, you can actually roll the towel or blanket up into the thicker end and get even crazier and have like a thicker roll this way. So start small, because it will really be, there will be a lot going on there, I promise you. The last thing I wanted to share with you guys, let me start to see if I can alter this here. Okay, so you see that I have my little block here. You can just use a stack of books. I swear it's the same thing, just about a nice thickness. This is probably what, like 6 inches thick or so, maybe a little less. And then again, if you have 2 tennis balls, awesome. But if you want to invest in these guys, these yoga therapy balls, they're amazing. I love them so much. They're really, really awesome. So if you're a woman, you have hair in the way, you might want to just kind of put yourself in a high pony, because you're going to be dealing with the back of the skull and sort of neck area. So what you're going to do first off is just to come on back. You can keep your knees bent again. Organize yourself so that your head's just kind of hanging out on the edge of the block here. But it's really just the edge of the head. The neck is not on the block at all. It's just the head. And then from here, you'll grab your little, and again, if you have tennis balls, you can always just use a sock to keep them tied and, you know, put a little knot so it keeps them in this little pouch, if you will, or contains them. But what you'll do is you'll take these and you'll just put them right behind where like the occipital ridge is on your back of your skull. Is 2 little knobby points, and you can feel them pretty easily, and they're usually very stiff on people. They're definitely stiff on me. And so you'll just hang out. Those balls will be pressing right on in to the back of your head, and those are obviously connected to your neck muscles and tendons as well. So just hanging out here is a lot of pressure from the weight of the head right on into the balls, and that can feel pretty great. You also might want to start to kind of rock your head from right to left. And again, you control the pressure, you control the weight and the movement. Sometimes I like to rock my head all the way off, almost on one side, and then the other. But there's a lot, at least for me, going on here with some stiffness, lots of sensations going on. So you just sit here. This is a good thing to do while you're watching some Netflix, too. Just hang out on your living room floor, get the balls out, get your books out or your block, and give yourself a nice little massage. These are really powerful tools. You can also do a little bit of head nodding up and down, kind of rolling on up, really small movements. I like to note here that if you have osteoporosis or any spinal issues, you might want to forego this, just being mindful of any contraindications. Talk to your doctor, your chiropractor, whomever, before you put pressure into your spine if that is an issue. Just because we're dealing with some neck stuff here. It usually isn't going to be affecting anything negatively, but I just like to preface that just in case some of you might have that going on. And then from here, move it up like a ½ inch. So you're going up a little bit higher on the back of the head. And again, just start hanging out with the weight of your head into the balls. That can be really interesting on its own. And then maybe begin to rock the head from side to side. This is probably not looking like much to you, but I promise there's a lot to be discovered in here, in these parts of your skull. And it all relates to neck, shoulders, back. So we're really starting to kind of loosen up the works, if you will. And it's really about self-discovery and just noticing what's going on in your body. And again, you might do the chin lift, chin tuck. Again, you are controlling the amount of weight and pressure you're putting in to the balls. And again, you can just hang out on parts or pieces that feel a little bit more interesting to you. But that is the gist of it. Those are like my favorite neck and shoulder and back sort of openers, just for the basic stuff. It's very easily done at home. If I've confused you with these videos, if you want more details or maybe more ideas onto what to use for props, if you don't have these guys, feel free to email me or text me, whatever. I'm open to all of it, and I'll give you some more tips. But otherwise, do these, as much as you can, even if it's just once a week. It will really help to manage stiffness in these areas on a regular basis. And the more you do, the better it will feel. Self-care is the key. So keep up the good work, and thanks for the questions. Bye, guys.